Hey guys, I'm back with another Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe episode. So in last episode we got the freedom ending, and then we also got the apartment or the telephone ending. If you missed the last episode, it's up on the channel for you to go watch. So yeah, let's see what endings we get today. Okay, that ending just finished. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back down, and then instead of pressing off this time like I did last time, I'm gonna press on, see how the ending changes.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
What was the code
What
again?
could it mean?
I think I'm gonna wait for the voice so I can hear if the code is correct, because I think it's 284, but I don't remember the last number.
Looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guided the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number. 2845.
2845, okay.
Stanley could, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Here we go, lights.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
And then we go camera.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
And action or up.
This mind control
I don't know what the symbol is.
It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content.
Does this do anything?
Eating,
I'm guessing
working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay, we're back to where I was just now when I pressed the off button. So this time I'm gonna press the on button and see how the ending changes.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go
yes,
and you
I
try
did,
to take
Naruto.
control of
You
the
know what?
machine for yourself. Is
No
that what you
regrets.
wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave.
Nope.
If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better
I
than
want the
that.
control.
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes.
Oh god.
Now, this is
I need to get out of
a
here.
little more fun,
And
isn't
there's
it,
no run
Stanley?
button.
It's your
I'm
time
a
to
counter.
shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this
Okay, I
is
think
much
these.
better than what I had in
I think
mind.
this is where I
Shame
press those
we have
buttons
so
in
little
order.
time left to enjoy it.
So I'm gonna
We
go
are
over here,
moments until the bomb goes off.
and then
But what precious moment
does this
each
button
one of
work?
them is.
Fail
More
safe.
time
No.
to talk about you.
And up here, I hope
about me.
this is
Where
this
we're
is the way
going.
out,
What all this means, I barely know
or it leads to
where
those
start.
buttons. Oh, this one is full. Oh god.
You'd like to know where your co-workers
Okay, back down, back down.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated.
Let me check for the numbers.
Good mood. You're
In
gonna
order.
die anyway.
Okay, we got one
I'll tell you
here.
exactly what happened.
What's this one next to it? Okay,
I
2.
erased them.
And
turned
then
off the
I think
machine
3
that
was
set you
on
free.
the other side. Can I go through this one
That
now?
was merely in this
I think 3 was
instance
on
of
the
the
other side.
story.
I'm gonna go over there and
Sometimes
check.
when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in
Was
your
it?
office room,
No, that one there
pushing
is
buttons
5.
endlessly and then dying alone.
I think that's
Other
it over
times,
there.
I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone
Yeah, that's number 3.
inside, or I let it
Okay,
burn
3,
to
and then 4 is
crisp.
up the
I have
stairs.
to say this though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
Let me go
Watching
up
you
the
try and make
stairs.
sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost
Okay,
hate to see it
number 4.
go.
And then
I'm
number
sure
5 is
whatever I
by the
come up
door
with on
to the
next
factory
go
power.
around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left.
Okay,
But I'm enjoying
34
this
seconds.
so
I still got
much.
time.
You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional
Nothing
seconds.
happened. Do I press this
Time
button
doesn't
here now?
grow on trees.
Okay, I can't press the
What's the
button.
matter,
Console
Stanley? Is it
disabled.
that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing?
I
right
don't
now?
know what I'm doing, and
Or did
nothing
you
is
just
working.
assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning
What
it
about these
off?
buttons? Can I do
mean,
anything
look
here?
at you, running from button to button,
Bro,
screen
of
to
course
screen,
the console
clicking
would
on
break.
every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do
3,
you
but
have
it's blue.
any idea what your purpose in this place is?
I still got a minute.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you.
I don't
That
understand.
timer
Okay,
is
let
the
me go.
catalyst
Let me
to
go
keep you
press 3 and then
absolutely
see
wrong.
if
It's just seconds ticking away.
that changes it.
You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene.
Okay, I
that
press
will watch
3.
you for
And if I
every
press
moment
this
that you're powerless.
blue button
To
now,
see you made
incorrect.
humble.
So what am I supposed to do?
This is
What is
not
that?
valid.
5
It's
and
a
green?
tragedy.
Oh, that's
You
incorrect.
wanted to control this world, that's fine.
The failsafe
But I'm
button.
going to destroy it first.
Goodbye,
so
employee
you can't.
427.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's
Can I,
30
if I press
seconds
again
you
or
have
something
left
else
to
happens?
struggle.
No.
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown.
How do I get out?
Will you cling desperately?
How do I get out? None of these buttons are working and this machine keeps just disabling.
Good choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will
What am I supposed to
be
do?
every second of your inevitable life.
How much time is left?
until we fade
Oh
in,
god,
until the
3
moment I
seconds.
say, happily ever after.
Well, I died. Okay, that was a different ending. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go check by all of the different pathways that I skipped
All of his co-workers
on the way there.
were
So
What
going
could it
down
be?
the ladder,
Stanley
down the
decided to
stairs,
go
I
to the
mean,
meeting room. Perhaps
and then
he'd
through that
saved the
escape
memo.
room. So I'm gonna go left here again, and then I'm gonna go
Stanley
through the
came to
door on the
assess
left
two
in
of
the
the
hallway
employees.
after
He
this.
entered the door.
Coming to you from the editing, that door on the left that I'm talking about is actually only after you go through the door on the right, then that door on the left appears.
On his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase,
Last time I went
Stanley
upstairs,
walked
this
upstairs to
time I'm
his
going
boss's
downstairs.
office.
Okay, there's nothing under the stairs.
But Stanley just couldn't
And
do
then
it.
do anything with this
He
car.
considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
can't do
He
anything
might
here.
be fired for that.
So I'm just
And
gonna
in
go
such a
through
competitive
to
economy,
the next
why
room.
had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy.
This looks
And then something
familiar.
occurred to
It
Stanley.
was like deja vu.
Maybe,
I've been here.
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of
Did
my
I just go in a
coworkers
circle?
blinking mysteriously
Does
out
this
of
car work now?
existence in
No.
a single moment for
If
no
I go through
reason
here
at all.
again, am I gonna see the
None
car
of it
again?
made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make
Oh no, it
other
changed.
strange observations. For example,
This is different.
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically
If
behind
doors
him
do
wherever
close
he
wherever I
went?
go.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
They are repeating.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all
1,
too
2,
strange. This can't be
P4.
real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
Okay, this is
he yelled.
the basement of
This
the
is
car
all
again.
a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt
Yeah,
to have
it's 1,
finally
2,
found an
P4
answer,
still.
an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
This room again.
He wasn't going to lose
Into
his
the car
job.
room.
He wasn't crazy after all.
The
And he
car
thought
still
to
can't
himself,
open.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing
Okay, the
buttons.
painting.
I may as
I
well
think the painting
enjoy
is the
this while
same.
I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying.
Can I activate the
and
vending
began
machine
to
now?
gently float above the
I
ground.
just started floating.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field.
Oh.
And it too appeared.
getting dark.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so
Okay.
lucid? And then perhaps the
This is so
strangest
trippy.
question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating
why is there a
everything
voice
that
in my
I'm
head?
doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing
Could
itself.
it be
being
that I'm
considered
actually
by
in a
Stanley,
mental
who
hospital?
found it particularly
And I'm
strange.
dreaming all of this?
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this
I
was
can't
not a dream.
interact with
How
any of
could it
these
be?
things.
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now.
Do I have to just
as he's
keep
ever
going
been in his
until
life.
the loop runs
Now,
out?
hearing the voice
Or is it just an
speak
infinite
was quite
loop?
a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin,
My
the press of the
dead.
mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
I actually think I'm in a mental hospital.
Okay.
And these are like the dreams of a delusional man.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real.
Why is
I
the screen
must be
going
real.
red?
I must be. Can anyone hear
Why are you
my
shouting?
voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Is this like a
Mariella woke up
parody?
on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings,
Am I the
and
body?
walked to her place of work. But on this particular
Did
day,
I
her
jump
walk was
out the window?
interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead
Actually,
on the sidewalk.
I
And
think
though
the
she
narrator
soon
said
turned
that
to go
I just
call for
died
ambulance,
while
for
walking on the
just a
street.
few brief moments,
So that
she
means I was
considered the
hallucinating while walking on the street and then
he
I
was
just
obviously
died.
crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. Now there's one more path that I didn't take, and it's the escape path just before you get to the mind control facility. So I'm going to go down, all the way back down to the escape room, and then see what happens.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley
And this time I remember the code, it's 2845.
Soul anywhere. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator
Wow,
talk.
the lines actually
That kind of
changed.
anxiety isn't healthy.
That's so cool.
He relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Is this a new path, or is it just for the people that's in a rush? That's such a cool change.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
Here's the
Mind
escape path
Control
that I'm gonna go
Facility.
down.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
That sounds eerie. What if I don't want to go down the path no more? Do I turn back? Nah.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I'm not turning back,
At this
narrator.
point, Stanley was making
You can't
a
convince
conscious,
me.
concerted effort to walk forward and
You can't
willingly
convince me.
confront his death.
Okay. Do I die if I just drop down here? That is such a big drop. Oh, to my death. What? I didn't die, you lied, narrator.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no
Okay.
consequence whatsoever.
I don't want to go that way no more. I don't want to go that way.
Story.
Oh
Trapped
no.
forever in his narrow
Is
vision
there any way I
of
can
what
get
was
off of this
happening.
thing?
Perhaps his death was of no
Let
great
me out,
loss,
please.
like plucking the eyeball.
I didn't mean it. I'll go back. I'll go back.
So he resigned
Oh no, this
and
thing
willingly
is
accepted
right
this
here.
violent end to
This
his
scene
own
reminds me of Portal.
farewell, Stanley.
There's such a portal-ish area. I'll go back. I'll go back. I promise. I'm not dead.
Farewell,
Ha!
Stanley, cried the narrator.
I survived.
As Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
What? That's twice now that you've lied, narrator. What are these boxes? Can I do anything? No. What does this say? The Stanley
And
Parable.
yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game back in his office.
That's such a
as
sick
alive as
transition.
ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Like, as you're getting closer, the door just slowly goes down. That's so cool.
When every path you can walk has been
What
created
is
for
this?
you long in advance, death becomes meaningless. making
Is this
life
like the
same.
model, the default models, and then here's my office?
Do you see that Stanley was already dead
Okay, this is so
from the
cool.
moment he hit start?
Office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path that Stanley's office to the 2 doors was the first path of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Well, that's so cool. The corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the 2 doors in good time. The 2 doors. The set of the 2 doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction of this room posed. Filing cabinets. Okay, so these are just models. Stanley's computer. I can't do anything with it. The nature paintings. Those are very nice pictures. The door. Oh no, that's the office. And then the set of like the computers. The button sounds, a selection of the sounds used throughout the game. When buttons are pressed, each sound is a mixture of the keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. So mix also, non-mixture. Office computers. Hey, someone was playing Sudoku. No, that's not Sudoku. Someone was playing Solitaire. Model design, original artwork. So these are the people that worked on the game. Then we got the original music, the sound design, the additional music, additional voice work. I'm not gonna read any of the names because I don't want to butcher the names. We got written and designed by, developed by, art direction, audio direction, development lead, and the impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. Additional development, the quality assurance coordinator, the office administrator, the producer. Based on the work of the Stanley Parable 2013 team. Additional level design, programming, animation, Stanley's character, skin, and the webmaster. Okay, I think I'm gonna go through the right first. Oh, the boss's office. Screens from the development of the boss's office. The office clock. Okay, let me go through the right first and I'll go up the stairs later. The lounge. The underground. A very early version of the underground portion. Okay. And then narration outtakes. Kevin, the key voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from the early takes that were not used in the final game.
A surprise party for him for all his button pushing. Does that sound plausible to you? Now look closely, Stanley.
Okay, I'm just gonna listen to this clip finished.
Anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next
Okay.
down to solve it.
I'm gonna leave now. And then up the stairs. Freedom ending. This was the first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Okay, I missed the button. The countdown disc. One of the discs from an early version of the countdown ending. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in the beta. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down, with freedom above and the countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Oh, and then that's the room, the countdown room. A very early version of the countdown room. Okay, then that's the exit. I'll go through there just now. I want to check everything here first. Zending. This screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. Huh? The Zending levers. These levers were originally a part of the Zending. Player would pull a lever and the narrator would describe what color they had pulled. So we got orange, purple and green. The game is now paused. Begin the game. Resume the game options and return to the menu. Escape menu. For a long time we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted the escape room. Unfortunately, very few players realized that this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. What is that? Trailers. We ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first one, released in May 2012. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator informing viewers that he is repairing a new version of the Stanley Parable. So this is one of the trailers. Okay. I'm gonna go check out the rest of the area. Okay, I can go left and I can go right. I'm gonna go left. The meeting room. Maintenance layout. The flow of hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right, since players will replay them so many times. We discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was the simplest version that we went with. Okay, so these are the 4 different layouts. Okay, so there's one option, then we have 2 options, and then 1 option again, and then the vent. The cargo lift. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Okay. So that's the cargo area. The cargo lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where the cargo was actually stored. The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choices leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Does that mean that this ending is not in the game? Or is it in the game and these are just like foreshadowing? Or supposed to give you hints? Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials as we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. Pen, Steger, gloves, dead, strong, bad. How do you type with boxing gloves on? Ben. Montgomery Jones, the lights. What do the lights in the control room do? I really want to know. Montgomery Jones. The lounge. An early version of the lounge. Okay, those are pictures. Warzone. Wow. That's such a cool area design, and this. They actually built a Warzone area. And I'm guessing that's an asset. Warzone. Early in the development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up in a battlefield fighting aliens. That's so cool. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which is not our intention. I like shooters. 431 to 436. Okay, the maintenance room. An early version of the maintenance room. The office. Okay, and then I'm back to the start. Okay, let me go all the way back to the exit. I think it was this one. Was this here before? Ultra Deluxe announcement. In December 2018, we announced the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable at the Game Awards. These are screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement. I don't remember if that sign was there. I keep crouching because I keep trying to run. The game design mock-up. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as kind of an audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout of this mock-up is still in the game. Okay, that's a cool area. Okay, and then the countdown room. Okay, I saw all of these, so let me go through the exit. The Stanley Parable.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
I'm guessing I have to switch
How
this
they both
off.
wish to be free. Can you see? Can you
can't
see
see.
how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Oh no.
But listen to me. You can still
Why am I
save
back
these
here?
two. You
You could have at least
stop the program
you could have
if
at least
they
put me in my
both
office.
fail. Turn off your PlayStation.
I gotta turn off the
There's no other
PlayStation.
way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Oh no.
Stop now, and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever
Oh
you do,
no.
choose it. Don't
Please.
let time choose for you.
No.
Don't let
I wonder how much endings this game has. Okay, I think I did all of the endings on the left side. In the next video, I'll do all the endings for the right side. Just let me know if I missed any endings for the left side of the path. I just want to thank everyone for watching, and if you have any thoughts, let me know down below in the comments.